Hey guys, today we are talking about 3 ways that you can save between $500 and $3,000 a month as a renter. And we're going to talk about 3 strategies that you can use and implement when you're looking to rent a house, an apartment, a condo, whatever it is. Number 2, we're going to be talking about location, and it's not just where you're at in the city, so stick around for that point. That's probably the biggest area that most renters can always save on. And then finally, we're going to be talking about terms. Now, terms is a weird term, and so I will explain more about that when we get down to that point. Number 1, set a budget. It's super easy, and this alone can save you up to $1,000 per month. When we started budgeting, we actually weren't saving anything at all. We were actually losing money and digging into our savings. Now, we looked at our finances, and there was a few things out of whack, but the main thing was food. Now, we were spending close to $500 a month on food, and over $250 of that was on eating out. So the first thing that we did was cut our budget back to $20 a month for eating out, and this did 2 things. It saved us a lot of money on eating out. We spent a little more on groceries, which 1 is healthier, 2, it's cheaper, and 3, you get more food out of it, so that's always a good thing. And then the best thing about it was actually, it seemed like we were going out a lot less, but we actually made the times that we did go out, so 1 to 2 meals, depending on, whether it was a date at Taco Bell or a date at a nice restaurant. Those 1 or 2 dates every month were something we always look forward to and continue to look forward to. And it makes those times that when we are spending that money, it makes it actually special, and therefore you feel better about saving. We actually ended up doing the same thing with our coffee budget, cutting that down to $20 a month. Now, before we used to go and just buy 1 drink each, and that would be $4 to $5 a drink. So we're spending between $8 and probably $12 every time we went to get coffee. When we started limiting ourselves to $20 a month, we would both share a large iced coffee and then get a free refill before leaving. Now this brings us to 4 drinks at a $3 cost. So we're at 75 cents a coffee now, which when we make coffee at home, it's more like 30 cents a coffee. Budgeting is not only the best way to save, but it's also one of the most motivating ways to save. You really see where your money's going into. It's an entirely psychological thing, and it really affects the way that you want to spend money. And by budgeting, you'll actually find more creative ways to spend your money, and you'll find pennies here and pennies there, and you just exponentially kind of go up this curve of saving. I think when we started budgeting, we were saving close to 10% of our income, and now we're up at 35%. So again, budgeting is such a huge topic, and it can really take up its own whole video. So I'm actually going to just go ahead and move along to the next point. The second point is location. Now, in location, we're actually not talking about where you live in your state. So we're not talking about moving to a really cheap, scummy area in the city. However, I do want to make a distinction. There are some areas here in Portland where a 500 square foot condo costs $3,000 a month, and this is one of my classmates at Portland State. They're paying $3,000 a month. They live with their girlfriend, so each of them is paying $1,500 a month for a 500 square foot studio apartment. Location is actually one of the biggest ways renters can save, because you can find a house with roommates. Now, it's kind of a tricky thing, but realistically, roommates are the biggest way that renters can save. Before getting married, I lived in a very nice 2,200 square foot house, a full kitchen, a 2-car garage, a really big living room, a full backyard, fenced in for a dog, and I only paid $450 a month for this. Now the key here is that I actually lived with 3 other roommates. Here's the thing, guys. This wasn't just a rundown, crappy house where, you could shove a bunch of people in and make a little money because you had a cheap mortgage. We actually live in a really nice suburb. It's very close to public transit, right next to the freeway, close to shopping centers, and a lot of good restaurants. So you might be asking yourself, is this a normal thing? Can I find a nice house in a good area for a cheap rent? Yes. Now, most houses often rent rooms for between $300 and $700 a month, depending on the area. Instead of paying $3,000 a month for a 500 square foot studio apartment, you can get 2,200 feet of livable space and more with a garage and a full fenced yard for 20 to 50% of the cost. Now, the best part about this is it usually includes utilities as well. So, electricity, water, sewage, garbage, a lot of those things are often included. I was lucky enough to live in a house with an HOA that was included in the rent, and they covered water, sewage, garbage, and we paid electricity and internet. Now, if it doesn't include utilities, you can expect to pay about $100 or more per month, depending on the area and what kind of energy usage you guys are using. The other benefit to living with roommates is that oftentimes you can find one of your roommates who's also a little tight on the budget and is willing to share food costs with you. Now, instead of as a single person spending between $200 and $400 a month on food, this means you can actually get down to between $50 and $150 a month on food bills. So this location portion can actually save you between $1,000 and $2,000 per month just by finding a good place to live. It might take a little more time, but it's obviously worth it. To our last point, we have terms. Now, what are terms and why are they a good thing for you to save money? Now, what I mean by terms is that you as a renter have the benefit of having a landlord here. Initially, when you're looking at renting a place, you should definitely check if they have an HOA and what that HOA includes. So, kind of avoid places that might have HOAs that are just pool, gym, lawn care, that sort of thing. That's all very low cost maintenance, and places like this will often charge up to $200 a month from every tenant in order to maintain this pool and this gym that nobody ever cleans. The flip side is the good HOA. So that's where I live, in the good HOA. We pay about $330 a month, and this includes 140 free channels of cable, water, sewage, garbage, all taken care of, lawn maintenance, outdoor maintenance, so that includes windows and roofs. If they go bad or if they get broken, they take care of it. They paint all the buildings, they take care of all the street work, so you don't have to repair your driveway. All of these are actually little costs that add up a ton, and they also include the pool and the gym, which is pretty nice to not have to pay for. It might seem kind of trivial, having all these little perks, but it actually would add up to close to $300 if you were to pay for it all out of pocket. Now, what this means is that the HOA is actually taking a very low management fee, and you want to really look into some HOAs will list what their management fee is, others won't, but you can kind of tell by the services they're providing if it's really high. You could actually do a comp study and put it on an Excel sheet and price out your own, yard care and pool maintenance and all this, blah, blah, blah. On the flip side is if you don't actually want to have an HOA. I get it, they can be annoying, they can be really picky about where you put your plant pot or, whatever it is. They can really get on your back. We had our neighbors next door get a complaint filed against them because they had these nice outdoor string lights, which is ridiculous because their property backs up to an entirely different community, and it was in their backyard, and it wasn't bothering anyone. Anyways, it happens. So what you want to look for in this scenario is what your landlord's going to be willing to cover. So if they have appliances in the house, for instance, so that includes refrigerator, stove, anything like that, that is a really good sign because that means they are actually responsible to fix it. Now, an average refrigerator repair cost is actually between $200 and $400. Now, this probably only happens every couple of years, but you kind of get the point, is that they add up over time, and it can really increase to a large average monthly expense. Now, other small things might include toilet repair, fixing holes in walls, a garage door opener, for instance, can be really expensive, and these things definitely add up, but they can also even go down as small as light bulbs. So, if you don't have $6 to go and spend to replace a light bulb, or 5 light bulbs even for $6. You know, they're very cheap, but you can even get that worked into your lease. It might seem small, a lot of these things, you know, $200 here, $300, $400 there, $5 here, $10 there. But all of these maintenance costs over time can add up to 1% of the property value on average. Now, that is annually, so therefore, every year you spend about 1%, so between probably $2,000 and $5,000 on these low cost maintenance issues. Now, the benefit of renting is that your landlord has to take care of pretty much all of them, and therefore these costs don't fall on you. What does that average out to? Between $165 and $500 a month on average. I'll say that again. $165 a month is easily what you could save every month just by renting. Now guys, that's about all I can fit into this video. I would really appreciate it if you could either like or subscribe. It really does help out the channel and get us pushed through on the YouTube algorithm. It really does help promote the videos and help me grow. As well as that, if you really liked this content but I didn't go in depth enough about any of the one particular topics you could do, if you just want to comment those below, I'm more than happy to go ahead and do the research for you, and then that way I can turn into a 10-minute video what you would spend actually hours trying to figure out on your own. Thanks for joining me, and until next time, bye.